Hello, everybody. Good evening. Oh, let me make sure you guys can hear me. I'm not muted. I'm on the screen. Hi, Austin James. Charlie Girl says, Samara, Mar. Hi, guys. How is everybody? Tawanda. Nice to see you guys all in here this evening. I look kind of fuzzy. I don't know if it's just me or if I'm actually fuzzy for you guys. Hey, Amanda T. Let me look. See, I don't look fuzzy on the StreamYards end, but on the YouTube end, I look really fuzzy. So, as you all know, we'll give a few minutes for everybody to kind of roll in. But I am doing the Cheryl Coker case. I have been working on this case all week. There's somebody that's on YouTube that was friends with Cheryl, and she is a friend of mine. So I really hope that I do this case justice. I hope I can present it well enough. I've been nervous about this case just because I think this is like the first case that I've done that I actually know somebody that is close to the person on the case. Other than, actually, that's not true. The Truth. There was a case that I did with the Truth that she was knew the person. So I was nervous on that one too. Hey, Galloway girl. Why do I hear myself? Oh, that's why. I could hear myself, and I had my YouTube playing. You guys should have yelled at me. Did you guys hear that echo? You guys should have been yelling at me. I had it going because StreamYard's chat wasn't working very well. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, so why don't we start the case, shall we? I think I've said all my hellos, and if you guys want to grab a drink, get in under some warm blankets, get comfy, and let's start, shall we? So, Cheryl Coker was 46 years old. She's from Riverside, Ohio. Cheryl Coker disappeared in October 2nd, 2018, after filing for divorce from her husband. Cheryl married her husband Bill in 1988. He was her second husband. Her first marriage was short-lived, but in that marriage, she ended up having a daughter named Marissa. Soon after, she had met Bill, fell in love, and got married. After they were married, Bill and Cheryl had another daughter named Michaela. Their daughter, Marissa, Bill also adopted Cheryl's daughter, Marissa. And then Marissa gave Cheryl a granddaughter. She made her a first-time grandma, which I know how that feels because I'm a first-time grandma. Friends and family say the couple appeared ill-suited from the outside. Cheryl was a bubbly, quick to laugh, an open book, loved life, always checking in with others, willing to do anything for anyone, loved her friends and family dearly, while Bill appeared quiet and reserved. But Cheryl also welcomed the stability Bill offered in the wake of her troubled first marriage. People said Bill was a hard worker. The couple were very active in their children's life. from their schoolwork to the girls' sports competition, home and on the road. They made sure not to miss a game. They were always involved in their children's life. Cheryl loved Bill. Her main attraction to each other was their family they made. Cheryl loved her family. She loved being a mom. She loved being a grandma, and she loved being a wife. Although there was some allegations of cheating in the beginning of their marriage, at the start of their marriage, it took a hit when Cheryl suspected Bill of infidelity. Cheryl did ask Bill to stop seeing her, and Bill instantly stopped seeing her. When Cheryl confronted him on her suspicions, they did work through the bump in their marriage, and they worked it out. Hey, Nene, serendipity, bluebird on my shoulder. Welcome, guys. But years later, Cheryl told some friends that her and Bill had become swingers. Cheryl didn't just do it for Bill, she was willing as well. She told friends their sex life was better since becoming swingers. There's a lot of people that have open relationships. There's nothing wrong with that. It was something that worked for Cheryl and Bill at the time. So they decided to have an open relationship. There was rules to it, where most times when people have an open relationship, even if they have an open marriage, there's always rules. So Cheryl, let me see, I lost my spot. I always do that to you guys. There was rules. They needed to tell each other about their dates, and the biggest rule was no falling in love. If they felt like that could happen, they needed to stop seeing that person. That was the biggest rule on both their parts. They needed to tell each other that they were seeing somebody. They could go on dates. They could do their thing. But the rule was that no falling in love. If you felt like you were going to fall in love, you needed to end that relationship. There came a time when hurt feelings led to Cheryl filing for divorce, because Cheryl was seeing that Bill was focusing his attention on one woman. Cheryl told close friends that Bill had a girlfriend. Cheryl was heartbroken. In the summer of 2018, Cheryl told friends she was fearful, not of Bill, but of losing Bill. She didn't want her marriage to end. She loved Bill. She was in love with her husband. She wanted her marriage to work. She loved him. They had 2 children together. They were together for 19 years. But Bill just, this girlfriend thing came, it was hard for Cheryl. That was the rule. The rule was that you could date, you could see other people, but you couldn't fall in love. And Cheryl just had noticed that Bill was spending a lot of time with this woman, and it didn't feel comfortable to Cheryl. Cheryl asked him to end it. He would not end it, so she filed for divorce. Cheryl wanted Bill to give up the other woman, but Bill refused. He also didn't want a divorce. Cheryl said Bill wanted to keep up the appearance until their youngest daughter finished high school. Cheryl filed for divorce on September 21st, 2018. She was seeking spousal support and custody of their daughter. I doxed her, but I'll be nice. I'm confused. Okay, I don't know. Oh, I get you, Sarah. I got you. On September 24th, now you guys have to remember these dates, because these dates say a lot. So on September 21st, she filed for divorce. On September 24th, Cheryl texted a coworker saying, "I'll be in tomorrow if I'm not dead." The same day, Bill texted Cheryl, "Thanks for putting a nail in my coffin." On September 28th, 6 days after filing for divorce, Bill took his daughter on a trip to Florida, while Cheryl stayed home to attend a family wedding. Cheryl was unaware that Bill also invited his girlfriend on the trip to Florida. Bill and his daughter came home from vacation on October 1st, 2018, in the early morning. On October 2nd, 2018, Cheryl brought her daughter to school that morning. After that, Cheryl was never seen again. Now, these are the things we know from the investigation of her missing. So, like I said, you guys have to remember these dates because they're very important. What we know is after Cheryl brought her daughter to school, she made it home. She logged into her social media accounts. She was on social media until 7:45. And after that, nothing. About 3 hours after she logged out of her accounts, surveillance video showed Cheryl's Highlander entering a strip mall that has a grocery store and a restaurant. This strip mall is 1 mile down the road from Cheryl and Bill's home. Now, this is another thing. Even though Cheryl filed for divorce, Bill and Cheryl were still living together, even after her filing for divorce. So Cheryl's family started to get worried when they didn't hear from her throughout the day, when they kept trying with nothing. The family, not including Bill, used Find My Phone app, and it tracked her phone to the strip mall where they found her car, but no Cheryl. Her car was locked, but when they looked inside, they saw a lot of Cheryl's personal items inside her SUV, like her phone, credit cards, ID, money, everything that a woman would need, even if she wanted to leave. Say, she filed for divorce, her husband is seeing another woman, although we all know from the reports, Cheryl would have never left her family, would have never left her children, would have never left. But if that was something she wanted to do, she would need to bring her IDs, her credit cards, her money, her keys, her wallet, her phone. All of it was left behind in her car. And her car was locked, but no keys. Now remember that there was no keys found to her car. Cheryl's mother, Mary, was living with cancer. Cheryl would never leave her children, her grandchild. Cheryl spoke to her family daily. She would never leave her phone. Everything just started getting more and more bizarre at this point. So police called Bill to the strip mall. As soon as Bill got there, he told police that him and Cheryl had an open relationship and that Cheryl was involved into risky behavior. So instead of coming to the strip mall, realizing that his wife's car is sitting in the strip mall, she's nowhere to be found. All of her stuff is left in the car. Instead of being a panicked husband going, "Where is my wife? What are you going to do to find my wife?" The first words out of his mouth were, we're in an open relationship and my wife was in risky behavior before she disappeared. Police had Bill go down to the station for an interview. While there, he told police when Cheryl got home, she was in the shower and asked Bill to jumpstart her car. He said he tried, but it didn't work. But he only talked to her through the door. He said he never saw her, and he said after that he went to bed. Now let's stop right there and talk for a second. So this woman gets up in the morning after her daughter is on vacation with her dad. They get in the wee hours of the morning, but her youngest daughter wanted to go to school the next morning. So Cheryl got up and brought her daughter to school. drove her to school, drove back, was on social media till 7:45. Then the car drives to a strip mall and parks itself there. But yet Bill is sitting here telling the cops that Cheryl wanted him to jumpstart her car. Why would she need her car to be jumpstart when her car didn't have problems before that? She was able to bring her daughter to school. Police also found out that Bill tried to run Cheryl off the road when she filed for divorce. They also found out 5 weeks before Cheryl disappeared, there was a text that have drawn detectives' attention. On August 28th, Bill Coker's girlfriend told police Cheryl texted her asking that if Cheryl were to die or wasn't in the picture, would she pursue a permanent relationship with Bill. It was reportedly sent by Cheryl, but police were not 100% convinced that she actually did send that. Now, in my opinion, I don't think she ever sent that. I think Bill took Cheryl's phone, texted his girlfriend, said what he had to say, and then deleted it from Cheryl's side of the phone. So Cheryl would have no idea. Because how would Cheryl have the girlfriend's number, for one? For two, why would she text his girlfriend to say, well, if I were to die or if I wasn't around, would you do a permanent relationship with my husband? No way. Not buying it. Although Bill met several times with detectives in the early stages, but Bill also hasn't shown a lot of interest at all in what steps were taken to try to find his wife when she was missing, now for over a year. Now we've gone a whole year of Cheryl missing. He has been interviewed several times. And every time he was interviewed, he didn't ask what detectives were doing to find his wife. He wasn't even concerned about them finding his wife. More than a year of Cheryl being missing, in April 2019, remains were found 15 minutes down the road from Cheryl's home by a person mushroom hunting in Cedar Creek Township. The Greene County coroner confirmed the remains were Cheryl. They're saying that for where she was found, it was not a common area for people to go hiking in or walking in. This was not that type of place. Mushroom hunters went to the place. So in my mind, to me, it sounds like a very high vegetated state. It's like there's no pass in my eyes. I could be wrong. I don't live in Ohio, but when I think of that, that's what I think of. He was busy going to the casino and on vacation with Erin. Oops, did I say her name? During the autopsy, he said the cause of death was undetermined, but there was enough evidence to suspect foul play. Her case is being considered a homicide. The coroner said that the remains were exposed to the elements long enough to make their investigation difficult. The coroner, Kent Haschenberg, goes on to say, the circumstances surrounding the disappearance as developed by law enforcement investigators, the death as postpartum changes are consistent with the time period she went missing. Also, clothing they found were consistent to what she was wearing the day she went missing. In February 2019, Riverside police identified Cheryl's husband of 19 years, Bill, as a suspect after police uncovered evidence that may prove she vanished under suspicious circumstances. Bill told the news that he would never and has never hurt anyone. The ruling of the undetermined cause in undetermined manner actually keeps the door open for prosecutors and police to continue their investigation. By ruling undetermined, it allows the coroner to participate in the investigation, ongoing, and as further information to come available. The coroner can reevaluate and take a look at new information and could amend the cause. The only reason she would have been found there, in that area that her remains were found, the coroner states the only reason she would have been where she was found was it for the sole purpose to conceal her death. So they do not know what her cause of death was. It's undetermined. But they do believe it was homicide, which I personally believe it was homicide. I personally believe that her husband is involved. He is ruled a suspect at this time, but he has not been arrested. Now, serendipity, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I saw Bill last week. Instant rage and anxiety. I bet. Now, I would like, I'm gonna talk to you all, but I made something and I want to play it right now, and then we can go back to talking on what we think about this case. But I want to play this first. So give me 1 second, guys. So these were a couple of pictures that I had found online. And like I said, somebody dear to my heart is very close to this case. This case was hard for me to do, and I wanted to make sure that I did it nice and the best I could. And I felt like I wanted you guys to see Cheryl, because every picture I saw was that huge smile on her face. And from what I've heard from this person that's very dear to her, that her laughter was contagious. Her laughter was the best part of her. She had the biggest heart. She loved everybody. And I really just hope that she gets justice. She deserves justice. Her girls, her granddaughter deserve justice. Her mother, her friends, they all deserve justice. And then I don't know what the holdup is on arresting him. I don't know what more evidence that they're looking for to arrest Bill, in my opinion. Bill is trying to say that Cheryl was in risky behavior due to her being a swinger. She was seeing a man at the time of her disappearance, but um, they've ruled this man, he wasn't even around. Like, he's not even a suspect. But Bill is trying to play them being swingers as the reason she disappeared. And I don't believe that. And I thought about leaving that part out of her being a swinger because I don't think it defines her, but it's a big part of this case because that is what Bill is using as the reason why he's innocent and somebody else is guilty because she was a swinger. Riverside PD sucks. Bill is the only suspect and he's guilty and they know it. Exactly. Sarah, I don't know if you don't want to come up, but if you would like to come up and talk a little, I'll put the link in the chat. I think you guys can all figure out who is close to this case by the chat and who I hold dear to my heart that I was talking about. I didn't know he ran her off the road right before she disappeared when she had him served with the divorce papers. Yeah, that's what I read. I read that he ran her off the road. Now, is that what I tried to find to see if she put a report about him running her off the road or if that was just she told family and friends, and due to the investigation they found that out. But I couldn't find any evidence that she actually called the police and made a report. So I have a feeling that she just told her friends and family about it, and when they were interviewing them, that they told them how he wrote. And what I also found very interesting is when she texted a coworker, believe she went missing on October 2nd, and she texted a coworker on September 24th. That was maybe a week before she went missing when she texted that coworker and said, "I'll be in tomorrow if I'm not dead." And Bill texting her that day, "Thanks for putting a nail in my coffin." Oh, Sarah's coming up. So I believe that he was threatening her way before she went missing. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, darling, I didn't know you wanted me to come up, but yeah.
No, if you wanted to, you didn't have to, girl. If you don't feel comfortable and it's too upsetting, I understand, but I just didn't know if you wanted to come up to say some stuff that maybe I wasn't able to find doing my research because you know how they leave stuff out and things like that. So
Bill was really standoffish. He was kind of a loner type, and he worked at General Motors along with Cheryl and I. I didn't know him very well, but I got to meet him when Cheryl and I were pregnant together, and I never cared for him, and his sister was our boss. She was my boss, and
wow.
I've known her for almost 20 years, and she and I are no longer friends because of this case.
Right.
Yeah, we had a little falling out.
Well, I'm sure because, of course, she's going to side with her brother, where you're going to side with Cheryl's family. I totally get that would be hard to keep a friendship in that aspect. Now, his sister was nothing like Bill, I take it, because you were friends, so I would take it that she wasn't as standoffish and quiet as he was. Yeah.
She's kind of on the shy side too, but not like him. And he was really intimidating, and Cheryl was kind of afraid of him, and he was a black belt in martial arts. Let's not forget that,
See, I didn't find anything about that.
Oh yeah. And he was an avid gun owner. He had a lot of guns.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was a big man, or is a big man. Like, Cheryl was my height. She was short like me, probably like 5'3", 5'4". And
Yes.
he's like,
Oh,
go ahead.
go,
Sorry.
no, go ahead. This is another part that I don't know what happened to a piece of paper. Maybe my granddaughter ran off, but I'm forgetting a big part of this case, and I apologize, guys. When they found her car in the parking lot at the strip mall, they looked for surveillance for around the strip mall to see who got out of that car
Yeah.
and everything. Well, at the strip mall, it was motion censored only. So they got her car pulling in, but then it went black. So when it came back on again, it didn't show who got out of the car. So they started tracking, asking houses and stuff. And there was a guy dressed all in black. Well, they think it was a guy, all in black
Oh,
with
it
a
was
hoodie
definitely a
on.
guy. Yeah.
Right, with a hoodie on, with white gloves. And he was walking in the direction of Cheryl and Bill's house. Now, mind you, the strip mall is a mile away from Cheryl and Bill's house. That same day, in Cheryl's neighborhood, somebody had called 911 about this suspicious guy walking in their neighborhood, dressed all in black, wearing white gloves. They also got surveillance of the high school because didn't Cheryl and Bill live behind the high school, I believe, or near the high school? Because there
Near
was
it. Yeah.
near it, there was a fence, and it showed that same person that they caught walking, the same description of the 911 call, the same description, basically right near Cheryl's house was this person dressed all in black and had the hood on. But they never caught the person's face. But a lot of people that I read in the news and stuff, this person was the same height as Bill.
And I have that
This
video on my channel.
do you, yes, you
Yes.
do. He's the same height as Bill, the same weight as Bill, and he walks just like Bill. But
Yep.
the police couldn't say it was Bill because they never got a face shot.
And
So I
also,
forgot that part. The
also
grandbaby
at the
must have
same
took it.
time, in the same time period, Bill had a mark on his arm, some kind of
Ye-
scuff. He said
mhm.
he did it at work, but it was captured on the Kroger cam where he had this mark on his arm. But the thing is that he didn't report it to his work saying that he was injured. So there's no record of that ever happening at his work. You know what I
Right, and
mean?
that
So
was above
it's just,
his elbow. There was a big scrape
yeah.
above his elbow, and he was in Kroger's shopping. And when
Hmm.
they did the surveillance on him, you could see the mark. But he said right, like you just said, he said he got it from work, but there was no incident report made from work that he
And
received this injury.
another big red flag is Cheryl sent a text to her friend and said, "Look, Bill is going to be getting the divorce papers today. I'll be into work tomorrow if I'm not dead."
hmm
How
Yeah.
creepy and crazy is that?
And
And then
that's
she
the
ends up
same
dead.
day, right? And that's the same day that he texted her and said, "Thanks for putting a nail in my coffin."
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, why do you feel, Sarah, that they have not arrested him yet? What do you think the holdup is, in your opinion? What do you think is keeping them from arresting him? Because they have listed him as a suspect,
I
but they're
don't
not
know.
arresting him.
I know that CBI or whatever it's called came and collected like a lot of DNA and a lot of evidence. I don't know I don't know. Maybe it's because the prosecutor doesn't think that he has a strong enough case. I'm not really sure. I know that, Riverside completely dropped the ball because they didn't even have the techs go and collect evidence for like a whole week. I mean, it took days and weeks for them to just get like search warrants and stuff. They
Wow.
just, yeah, like they waited for days upon days until they really started to say, hey, something's wrong.
Yeah, and
Cheryl's,
you would have thought when they noticed all her stuff being in her car and everything, and the family saying this isn't like her, and this
yeah,
is what happens all the time is that the cops just think, oh, she signed up, she gave him divorce papers. She's probably just upset and took off. Well, anybody that's going to be upset and stuff, they're still going to take their phone, especially when they have a mother who was fighting for cancer. You have 2 children and a granddaughter that you talk to daily,
yeah.
daily. Why, even if she wanted to get away from Bill, she
Well, and
still
see,
would have
that's the
took her
thing.
stuff.
That's the thing. Bill tried to play it off as if she probably ran off somewhere. Bill tried to say that they had a stash of money, like $10,000 or something crazy, in a shoebox in their closet. And he told the police that all that cash was gone, and
Oh,
was trying to say, well, Cheryl took it. I didn't take it. It's gone. And so he's
wow.
trying to get them to believe that, she just up and left, which nobody believed that.
No, no, it just doesn't seem like her. Like through, here talking to you privately and reading everything I read, there's no way. She loved her family. She loved her life
Oh,
way
she
too much.
absolutely did. Yeah,
Hmm.
she didn't want to get the divorce. She wanted to try to work things out. She
Right,
wanted to keep the house. They had just upgraded the house. They had done certain things, to make it more of a home. She didn't
right.
want this divorce, but she also didn't want him to,
Be
have
with this
Aaron.
other right. She wanted him to leave Aaron, and
Yeah.
he refused. He wanted his cake and his icing too, and Cheryl stuck her to her guns and said, no, you can't have that both. I mean, she was, a woman enough to agree to an open marriage. He just wanted more and more and more and more and more. That's what it seems like.
He
Is the
didn't think
husband
that she
still
would
with the girl?
actually. Oh,
They want
yeah.
to know. Yes, they're still together.
Oh, they're still together. Yes. A friend of mine seen them out to dinner not too long ago, and he was at the dinner table out in public giving her some kind of little box, like a present.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
yeah. If I
no.
would have seen that, oh, God.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So so you just think that there's just not enough evidence. I mean, I like that the coroner left it as undetermined.
Yeah.
I did like that when I read that because that means that with any new evidence, they can reevaluate, and be able to classify her death, homicide completely, but he just can't because he can't figure out how she died,
Right.
yeah. But I do like that they can at least go back to it. I just wish they could get that one little clue, that one little thing to solve. I just don't know what else they need. I mean, they have text messages. I don't know. I
Well,
just
here's the
don't
one
get.
thing I want to say this. Okay, so his sister, Bill's sister, she lives in, let's see, I don't really, she lives, I don't know if I want to say where she lives.
Yeah.
She lives on the
Yeah.
way kind of to where Cheryl was found.
There
Maybe
you go.
like 45 minutes, no, a half hour away from there. So, and that's the back roads to get there to her house.
Okay.
And, you know, I have contacted the Riverside Police Department. I have screamed it from the rooftops. Like, taking Route 68 is the way you get to where the town she lives in. Of course, Bill is going to know that area
Right.
because, to get there is how you get to her place.
Right.
And
Now, that was the other thing I was going to ask you. Where she was found, what I kept reading was it wasn't a place where people would go, like
no,
to
it's like a
hike.
bunch of cornfields and, kind of like farmer's land. There's like a
Okay.
little, there, it's a little area with a lot of overgrown trees and shrubs and
So not a
wooded
place where
area.
they could hike or anything like, it's
Um,
not like hiking, because that's what they all said. It was more for like people that are looking for mushrooms. It's like
yeah.
popular for them, but not popular for anybody to think to go hiking in, is what I pretty much read.
We went out there a couple months ago, and it's right off of a road. Now, the road is not like a busy road, um,
hmm
but yeah, I mean, people would have driven by there, and if you didn't know to look, obviously you wouldn't see anything because of the wooded area. But I mean, it dumbfounds me that, she was just left out there, you know.
So the people are asking, is the daughter still with the dad, and how old is she? Do you know the daughter now? The
Um,
youngest.
uh, she's still underage.
She is, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really,
Yeah.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
underage still. She's close to being an adult. um,
She's close.
yeah, she's not living with him to the best of my knowledge. I can't say that for
Mm,
a fact, but the
right.
last I heard, she's not.
I agree, Leo's wife. She said, I wouldn't want to be his girlfriend if his wife was found deceased. Big red flag. Well, who's to say she wasn't involved? That's the other thing. I'm not saying,
Oh, I've said
you,
that the whole time. They worked
mm,
together. Now, Bill and the girlfriend worked together.
at the same place Cheryl worked too, at
No,
that
no,
car
no.
place. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that was, yeah, this is the current job that they worked
Oh,
at.
okay. Okay. So that's how they met,
Yeah,
obviously, is through work. Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Because it's interesting that, that I'm sorry, for me, even if I was seeing somebody and they're being, looked at because their wife has gone missing and they're listed as a suspect, I'm sorry, I would be putting on my boots and running to the high hills. So I find
Sure.
it quite interesting to hear that him and the girlfriend are still together,
As
you know?
thieves.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they've gone on vacation back down to Florida since she's been missing. They go to the casinos. I mean, people watch them and watch what they do and where they go. And then it's discussed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, people are nosy, and especially with cases like this. I mean, people are going to keep an eye on him. It's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Of
And
course, because they want justice. And I
yeah,
don't blame everybody for wanting justice. This woman didn't deserve to get her life taken. And this
no, and
woman, her family deserves justice. And I just wish I could ask them, what the heck is the holdup? I don't get, like, they have him listed as a suspect. So they have enough evidence to know he's the
right.
suspect. He's even they've asked him to do polygraphs and he's
He won't
denied
do
them.
it.
He will not do a polygraph. Will not.
No,
They've asked him several times. He comes in and he's been interviewed a couple of times, but now he's lawyered up. He won't even talk to the police anymore now, from
no.
what I read. But to get from, usually when you classify somebody a suspect, usually that means an arrest isn't far behind. But he was listed as a suspect back in, what did I
Wasn't it
say?
January or February last year?
February of 2019.
Yeah.
He was listed as a suspect. They finally identified him as a suspect. And here it is, 2020, and the guy is still not behind bars. It makes no sense to me.
I
None.
remember we all freaked out. Like, I was in some of the groups, like on
hmm
Facebook, and we was all like excited. Oh my God, they're going to put him in jail. This is it. Cheryl's going to get justice. And
Right.
then months and months and months went by, and people are like, okay, hold on. This isn't good. Like, what's going on? Why is he not being arrested? I mean, I think
Yeah.
if they don't arrest him, Brandon was telling me that he thinks, this isn't like confirmed or anything, but he
Right.
thinks that Bill in time can turn around and sue them for making him a suspect without, pressing any further charges. I don't know if
Charges.
that's true.
I don't know either, but that would be crazy if he could, though. That
Yeah.
would be really crazy, and let's hope not. I just don't. I'm just dumbfounded by that because, like you just said, in your Facebook groups, you guys were all excited because anybody that does crime, all us crime junkies out here, they list the suspect. An arrest is intimate. It's gonna be right around the corner. So. Do you think that they just listed him as a suspect just to shut people up? Do you think that
I
they
don't.
kind of jumped the gun? Because obviously they dropped the ball somewhere.
Oh, they
For,
did.
yeah, to get evidence that late, everybody knows the first 48 hours is crucial, and for
There
you to
was
wait.
hundreds of people that looked for Cheryl. I mean, night and day, like for days and weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
And, the police absolutely gave the public nothing. I mean, they wouldn't give us anything, like no hints on what was going to happen. We found out through the news. Like,
Right.
it was just insane. And like the family didn't even know anything. This whole
Oh.
case was insane. They dropped the ball on it. I mean, they had to hand it off to I think it was the state
Mm-hmm.
or the FBI, something like that. They couldn't complete it, so they had to.
Right. They hit the roadblock where they couldn't think of any more to do, so they passed it off to see who could fix what of their mess, pretty
Yeah,
much.
basically.
Well, it's just horrible. This case breaks my heart, and I know that being your friend, I'm so deeply sorry. And I know that you have been following this case from day one. I've seen that you put up your videos and stuff, and I just hope for justice for her. I
I
just
do too,
hope.
because like I worked with her for years, and we had a lot of fun times together, and we had so many laughs together. And then you think, oh my God, somebody could do something like that to somebody so good. There
Nini,
wasn't a
she was.
mean
Oh, go ahead.
there wasn't a mean bone in her body. Like, she was funny all the time, and she was so kind. Like, I'm dumbfounded that somebody would want to take her last breath just because.
Right.
Like, I'm so bothered by that.
I agree. Nini, she was found, what was it, a mile down the road, 15 minutes down the road from where she was found. What did I say? Um, what was it?
She was found on the outskirts of Xenia, kind of.
Yeah. But
Kind of
it
in
wasn't
Yellow
far from
Springs,
her
sort of.
home, right? It wasn't that far from her home, though,
Uh,
right? Or was it? Maybe it was
mm,
the strip mall. She was a mile down the road. But what did they
yeah,
say? Yeah.
it's probably like a good 20-30 minute
15
drive.
minutes down the road. So it said more than a year of her being missing. She was found in April 2019. She went missing October 2nd, 2018, and her remains were found 15 minutes down the road from her home.
Yeah, what he would have had to have done was jump on State Route 35 to State Route 68, and then that's where she was found, right off
Hmm.
of 68.
And that was the other thing that when I was talking about this case and I stopped, I found that part weird. How she brought her daughter to school that morning,
Yeah.
but then came home and Bill said she needed him to jump start her car. That
And
made
that's her
no
work
sense.
car. That
Oh,
was
it
her
was.
work car too. And I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it made no sense to me because she had just dropped her daughter off, so her car was running. Why would she had come in the house and jumped in the shower and told her husband through the shower, "Hey, can you jump start my car?" when it was already working. And then he says, oh, I went to go try to jumpstart it. It didn't work. So I yelled through the door that I couldn't do it and went to bed.
Well,
That
now
made no sense to me.
apparently one of the neighbors did see him tinkering under the hood. I don't know that for a fact. I did hear that though. I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
did. Right.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think I remember that. I don't know. Bill's such a liar. Who knows what's the truth and what's not?
Exactly. Exactly. It's just, I mean, it just, none of it makes sense. This is that case that it seems like it would be so easy to solve, but yet it's, so hard at the same time. It's kind of like you see the cars being brought a mile down the road. She was in her house. She never made it to work. She never left her house. There's no proof of her. Once she dropped her daughter off and went inside that house, there is no proof of her leaving that house. Her phone didn't ping. The only time her phone pinged from the time she walked in that house after dropping off her daughter, the next time her phone started pinging is when it was being driven to the strip mall.
Yeah.
So that proves right there she never left her house that morning. And
they still never showed proof that she dropped her daughter off at that school. There's no proof of that. I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. I'm not going to say much more, but yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, because that's in everything that I read. Yeah. Everything. That's like the first part of the article that no matter what I read, what I opened, it was that she dropped her daughter off at school and she came home and she was on social media till 7:45. Every article I opened. Yeah, that's what it said.
No footage of that or nothing from that school.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows even if she ever left the house. But they did say the only ping that it was, the only time that phone pinged was driving to that strip mall. And then, like they said, can they prove the guy in the black outfit and the white gloves leaving Cheryl's car? They can't, because the strip mall was by motion sensor. They caught the car driving in.
And that,
go ahead.
Yeah, that strip mall is so old and decrepit. It really wouldn't surprise me because there's nothing updated to that strip mall whatsoever. There's like an old bar there and a Capitol Cleaners and a Kroger's. It's just so run down.
Right. And the only thing, so when the car pulls in, you can see the footage of the car pulling in parking, but then it goes black. The next time it shows up, there's nobody in the car. There's nobody. But if you do the time from the time that car pulled into that parking lot till the video surveillance they got from stores or people's houses, the guy walking, the timing is right there. It's like, the timing all fits. And this guy is walking in the direction of Cheryl and Bill's home.
And he's got that goofy walk. And
he does.
It's definitely him. I don't understand why. I guess they can't prove it, but just by looking at the way he walks, it's completely, totally him.
And for him to wear gloves, I find that very interesting too. Not only are you wearing all black, but you're wearing gloves. Obviously, you don't want your fingerprints, but still, obviously, it was suspicious enough for that man, to call 911 that day to report a suspicious man wearing gloves walking down in his neighborhood, the same neighborhood Cheryl and Bill lived in.
Convenient, huh?
Very convenient. I just don't know how the cops can't put the pieces together.
Right. And so many people have complained on Riverside PD because of all of this. There's so much evidence that just, it's inevitable. And, they say nothing.
I don't know, Ninny. I didn't read anything, and I don't think Sarah wants to talk about the child. Ninny wanted to know if the daughter said anything about the car giving her mom any trouble. I don't know even if they ever interviewed the daughter.
She
I
hasn't
didn't.
said a word.
I
Honest to
haven't.
God, she has
Nothing.
not talked about it. Nope.
No. Because I couldn't find anything where they investigated, I mean, questioned the daughter to make it see if she brought her to school, if she was having trouble. None of that.
Can you hear my dog?
I can.
She's wanting me to take her.
Oh, well, you can jump down if you need to. Oh, she wants to go out,
She
Mama.
does.
Well, thank you for coming up, Sarah. I
Thank you for having
appreciate
me, Jenna. I
it.
really appreciate you for doing this case. You have no
No,
idea.
definitely, definitely.
Cheryl meant the world to me.
I know she did. I know she did. And I just pray that one day she will get the justice she deserves, for
I
sure.
hope so. I pray that she does. Thank you again. And thank you for doing this in chat. Sorry I couldn't see you guys, but thank you. I'll talk to you later, Jenna.
All right. Bye-bye, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Or her mom showing any sign of being upset that morning. From what Sarah said, and like I said, Ninny, everything that I read, there was nothing about the daughter. And now you have to remember, I doubt that they would put anything in the newspaper or in any of the clippings that I read due to her being underage. Like Sarah said, that she is almost of age, but not quite yet. So you got to think it happened in 2018. She was probably a lot younger. So they're probably going to keep that part completely sealed from anybody. There has to be something. So there has to be something somewhere. I don't know what. There's so much that points in the husband's direction. So much between the text messages and him, nailing and then the filing for divorce and him not wanting the divorce because, but every man doesn't want a divorce. Every woman doesn't want a divorce. That doesn't make you a murderer, but still. When I watched that videotape of the guy all in black walking, and then I watched a video of Bill, he did a news conference segment. It showed him walking, and I kept playing both back to back, and they literally walk the same way. Yeah, they do need fresh eyes. It needs the same height, the same weight, the same mannerisms, but they can't prove it on that. They needed a video of his face, just a glimpse, but he kept his head down the whole time. He had that hood pulled up, and if you watch it, the whole time his head is down. He never looked up. He watched his feet. They do need fresh eyes, and I hope they do. I really hope they do. I hope they get fresh eyes on the case. Because this woman definitely deserves justice. She was 46 years old. She just, became a grandmother. She was just in the prime of her life. Yeah, she had a bump in her road, but she was, she didn't want her marriage to end. She loved her husband, but she seemed like, from talking to Sarah and stuff, she was resilient. I believe that she would have made it. Oh, thank you, Nini. I appreciate that. Thank you. But I'm going to jump off. I thank you guys for all being here. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you could hit the likes or the dislikes, either one, don't matter. I like them both. And everybody have a good day tomorrow and enjoy your weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys are doing something good. I hope you guys are spending time with your family. I know I am. I'm actually going to a family cookout, so I'm excited about that. So I hope you all enjoy your Labor Day. Everybody stay healthy, stay happy, and stay you. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.